How's it going, everybody? I'm the best is, the best was the best ever will be. There'll be none before me, and there'll be none after me. Therefore, I am the one and only Jake Covey, and welcome to Wrestling Made Simple. We got an action-packed week this week with your news of the week, followed by your SmackDown and Raw reviews. We also have a review of King of the Ring 2024. We will then get into our drink of the week and the Battle Droid of the week. Let's get into news this week, though, as it is unfortunate that Adam Copeland will require surgery after a dangerous move at Double or Nothing. He jumped off a 20-foot steel cage during his TNT Championship match against Malachi Black. So, yeah, apparently he hurt himself and will require surgery for this. He said he is 50 years old and he needs to make better choices. No shit, dude. I mean, this is the problem I had with AEW with Sting. I'm very happy it didn't happen with Sting, because if it happened with Sting, Sting would have been crippled. There would have been no question he would have never probably walked again. So I'm always scared of those dangerous moves. I understand the want to do it. Everybody wants to be the guy to jump off of the cage. Cody Rhodes, for instance, did the moonsault off of the steel cage, which was awesome. But he's a young guy who can use his body that way. Now, is he extremely young, such as Darby Allin? No. Darby Allin apparently also got injured a little bit, but is fine. But it's just, why are you taking those risks when you know that if you keep doing it, you're going to destroy your body? It's not very smart to me. And a name leaving AEW, as Mark Henry has confirmed he is done with AEW. His contract will expire. He will not resign. I don't know what is next for Mark Henry. Apparently he has talked about delving into stand-up comedy, which I can completely believe. The guy loves laughter. He loves smiling. The big man, I've seen him, if you see his documentary, you know he loves to crack jokes and he loves a good smile. So awesome to see about that for Mark Henry. And I can't wait to see what happens next in his career. I'm a huge fan of his. And finally, a top star confirms their AEW future. Becky Lynch has confirmed that she will not go to AEW anytime soon. She does not know what the future holds, but she holds that she will not go to AEW. If anything, she will resign with WWE, or she will leave, or she will take time off away from the ring. I completely believe she would take time off. I feel like her schedule as a full-timer is coming to an end, and I feel that she is ready to call it a career very soon. Whew. Now on to SmackDown. It took place from Saudi Arabia. We would have Nia Jax defeating Bianca Belair to advance to the women's finals of the Queen of the Ring tournament. Jax will now face Lyra Valkyria in the finals of tomorrow. Jax told Lyra, who was seated at ringside, that she's going to buzz right through her and become a champion at SummerSlam. We then get L.A. Knight, who was supposed to come out for a Grayson Waller effect, but Cameron Hayes came out instead. Hayes told Waller and Austin Theory that they should stick together and fight through the veterans like Bobby Lashley and Cody Rhodes, who are taking their spots. Knight then came out to a huge pop. L.A. Knight then started to fight. You had Carmelo Hayes fight him. The Street Profits came in to make the save. We then get a vignette for Blair Davenport's arrival to SmackDown. After this, you would have L.A. Knight, and the Street Profits versus Carmelo Hayes and the WWE Tag Team Champions, A-Town Down Under. Ford would pick up the win by pinning Waller after a splash. We would then get DIY telling the Street Profits they want the tag team titles. So to step back and let them handle A-Town Down Under. We then get Women's Champion Bayley defeating Chelsea Green in a nice little match, but it was after Piper Niven would brutally beat the crap out of Bayley. AJ Styles met with Nick Aldis backstage. Styles said he was 1 second away from beating Cody Rhodes and was 1 second away from defeating Randy Orton in the King of the Ring tournament. Styles requested Aldis give him one more shot to win the WWE Champion to face the winner of Cody Rhodes and Logan Paul's match. AJ says he doesn't have time to wait. Aldis says he's sorry, but there's nothing he could do to help AJ. We then get Paul Heyman said that they couldn't bring Tonga Loa to Saudi Arabia today because he couldn't get through customs as his dangerous pass. And Raymond says there's a reason why Roman didn't bring new guys into the bloodline. Solo made it clear that he is in charge of the bloodline until Roman came back, causing a little friction between Paul and Solo. We then get Randy Orton defeating Tama Tonga in the semifinals to move on to the finals of the King of the Ring tournament. Orton would now face Gunther in the finals of the King of the Ring tournament. Solo Sikoa would attack Orton, which allowed Kevin Owens to come in and make the save. And the show ended with Orton going after Solo Sikoa. It was a nice little SmackDown from Saudi Arabia, really one of the first shows that came from Saudi Arabia that wasn't a pay-per-view, so cool to see that. Let's move on to King of the Ring, coming from, I'm making sure I'm saying it right, the Jeddah Superdome. I believe I think it was like somewhere along the lines of 17,000 in attendance. I don't know, maybe more. You would have the kickoff show kick off with Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill defending their titles against Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell. Nice little 8-minute match. You would actually have Jade and Bianca debut a brand new finisher, which was it was hard to say of Jade Cargill kind of lifting up Candice LeRae while Bianca Belair would then kind of drop a scissors kick to throw her down and then a suplex onto Candice LeRae, which would end the match. Really cool finisher, but damn is it taking a long time to set up. I feel like people are just looking for different setups now instead of the finishers, trying to think of like, how long can I make this match? We then get their first match of the night in a singles match of Becky Lynch defending her title against Liv Morgan, but it wouldn't be successful as Liv Morgan would defeat Becky Lynch to pick up the win and would become your new Women's World Champion. It would end with a little bit of controversy as Dominic Mysterio would be at ringside trying to distract Liv so that way Becky could pick up the win. Liv would hit a DDT on Becky onto the chair, allowing Liv to pick up the win. We then get Sami Zayn defending his Intercontinental Championship against Chad Gable and Bronson Reed. This would end on the outside as you would have Bronson Reed get clotheslined by Otis. And as Chad Gable was about to have Otis clothesline Sami Zayn moved out of the way and Otis clotheslined Chad Gable, but didn't look too sad to do it. Sami Zayn would then hit the Helluva Kick on Bronson Reed and pick up the win to retain his title. We would then get a 9-minute match between Nia Jax and Lyra Valkyria, in which there would be the Queen of the Ring match, whoever won is the new Queen of the Ring, and it would end brutally as Nia Jax would hit almost a super annihilator, basically, picking up the win. 1, 2, 3. Nia Jax is your Queen of the Ring, and that SummerSlam will challenge for the Women's Championship. Now on to the other side of the ring, a King of the Ring of Gunther versus Randy Orton in a 21-minute classic. I really got Gunther can work with a broom, man. This guy, not to say Randy Orton isn't talented. To me, Randy Orton is one of the top 4 of all time. I'll always say that. But Gunther, man, he pulled a 21-minute match out of Randy Orton at this point in his career. That's awesome. And Randy Orton looked like he could still go. It was very cool to see. Gunther would pick up the win and prove too much for the veteran, as Gunther would become your new king of the ring. King Gunther. And he will challenge for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship at SummerSlam. We then get your main event of Cody Rhodes defending his WWE Championship against Logan Paul. And Logan Paul delivered once again. I thought this was a fun match. Logan Paul flying through the air like he usually does, a great high flyer. Logan Paul would lose this match, as Cody Rhodes would retain his title. Shout out to Cody Rhodes for defending it hard against Logan Paul. Really enjoyed this match. The high flying against Cody Rhodes' great style was amazing. Thought it was fun. Shout out to Cody Rhodes for picking up the win and retaining his title. Definitely one of the best defenses he has had so far in his title run. I enjoyed a lot of the matches here. The only one I really didn't enjoy was the Nia Jax match, shockingly. I'm just not a Nia Jax fan. But it was still fun to see. If you're looking for a fun pay-per-view to watch from Saudi Arabia, this is definitely a good one. I rewatched it because I couldn't watch it live because I was currently at work when it was going on. That's what happens when it's a 1 p.m. start time. So, again, fun match, fun show, really enjoyed it, but I really just wish that they could just have the matches, that they could just have the pay-per-view and somewhere where we could watch it at normal time. I'm sure, again, that's the United States guys saying that to people on Raw, to people in the UK and everything. So, let's move on to Raw. As Raw kicked off with the new King of the Ring, Gunther, and Ludwig Kaiser. Fans chanted, "We want Randy," due to basically Ludwig Kaiser kind of costing Randy Orton the King of the Ring. It's still a fun match. You would have heavyweight champion Damian Priest coming out saying, just like the Intercontinental champion, he will lose any chance at this title after SummerSlam. McIntyre would then come out and say doesn't matter who wins, he will face, because he's gonna face Damian Priest at Clash at the Castle. Braun Strowman then came out and said he looked at the world title before coming face to face with JD McDonough. Braun Strowman would pick up the win over JD McDonough in a squash match later on the night. You would have Carlito come out, try to attempt it. Braun would basically just pick him up like he's one of the Three Stooges and beat the shit out of him. We then get WWE Speed Champion Ricochet versus Ilja Dragunov. It was supposed to be, I thought this match could be an awesome match. Unfortunately, never got a chance to get going, as Braun Breaker would interfere and spear Ricochet. Braun Breaker is supposed to be suspended for last week's actions of spearing Ricochet. It fortunately didn't take, and Braun Breaker doesn't care about the suspension. We then get the Authors of Pain defeating the Creed brothers in a nice little tag team match. I'm feeling the reason they lost this match was so they could really build up a heel turn of them joining Chad Gable. We then get a Sheamus and Ludwig Kaiser brawl backstage. Here's why I like this. It's really adding everyone on the show, giving them something to do. It's reminding... Teddy Long said this about the Attitude Era. He loved it because it didn't matter if you were main event, mid-card, lower card, anywhere on the card, you always had something to do on TV. And I feel like that's what Triple H is doing now. He's giving everyone a storyline. Everyone's involved in something. That's what I love. We think of Bronson Reed versus Otis. Bronson Reed would pick up the win. After the match, Chad Gable took off his belt and said he had to teach Otis a lesson. Maxine stopped stopped Gable, and Gable sent her to the back. Gable was about to hit Otis, but Intercontinental Champion Sami Zayn interrupted. Sami called Chad a weak little man. Chad attacked Sami and took him out. Unfortunately, Otis wouldn't make the save, but it was still, Otis looks like he's going to walk away from Chad. We then get your main event of Liv Morgan defending her newly won Women's World Heavyweight Championship in a steel cage against Becky Lynch. She would win by escape later in the match after interference from Dominic Mysterio. Dominic looked pissed, but didn't stop Liv from making out with him forcibly on the ramp. Yeah, weird, but okay. I don't know what to call this, because this is like Latino Heat backwards, in my opinion. Dominic Mysterio, who has been pointed out, looks just like Eddie Guerrero right now. It's still cool, but at the same time, like, Liv, that's a little... in this day's climate, you don't force somebody to make out with you. I'm just saying, I mean, come on. But that was Raw this week. It was a fun Raw. I really enjoyed it. Again, there's still some things that I don't get of the Liv Morgan Dominic Mysterio. Feels forced, and I really don't like that. But I love the fact that they're giving everyone on the card a chance to truly be on the show. Whew! I could use a drink. How about a shot? How about a rattlesnake shooter? 1 part coffee liqueur, half part of white cream de cacao, and a little bit and 1 part Irish cream. Here's how you're going to do it. You're going to pour the coffee into the base of the shot glass, layer with the white cream, the cacao on top, finish by layering your Irish cream on top of that, and you have a rattlesnake shot in honor of Stone Cold. Austin 316 says, "We just got your ass drunk, son." It's a great drink. It's actually a tasty drink if you're looking for a fun shooter. But please drink responsibly. Do not drink and drive. Do not drink if you're under 21 in the United States. And do not overconsume on alcohol. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for your Battle Droid of the Week. The Battle Droid of the Week this week is the constant, and I mean constant, QR codes. Listen, I understand what they're trying to do. They're really trying to build the Wyatt Six using Bray Wyatt's old storylines and homage, but it's going on for way too long, man. I enjoy it. It's fun, but Jesus Christ, we have to move on with it. Let's either get them debuting or maybe cut back on the QR codes. Maybe once every week. It's once every 2 or 3 weeks. If you're debuting them after SummerSlam, or Clash at the Castle, you still are over a month away from that. So please stop. And because of that, QR codes, you are the Battle Droid of the Week. Congratulations.
Uh-oh.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for listening. I have been the Big Guy, and this has been Wrestling Made Simple. Next week, we will start the run to Clash at the Castle. And after that, there's only one Clash at the Castle, so after the Clash at the Castle review, I plan on actually going into a couple pay-per-views that I feel they could bring back easily nowadays of bragging rights. I'll explain that later in later episodes, but thank you very much for listening. Have a great week in wrestling.